Afternoon, viewers of diecast. This is Okie Diecast, your favorite channel for diecast. For diecast 164, for diecast Matchbox, diecast Hot Wheels, diecast Mini GT, and lots of other diecast cars in the 164 scale. However, we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. It's a little bit of a crossover, a little bit of a bridge into one of our other interests, and it is board games. Tonight we're going to look at a game called Expeditions that came out over the summer. It's by Stonemaier Games. We're going to post this and maybe you'll be able to appreciate it. Fans of 164 diecast, maybe we'll get some different kinds of viewers to the channel. But we love this game and we were going to talk about it. So here it is. It's a game called Expeditions. It's a sequel to Scythe. If you know anything about these games, it's published by Stonemaier Games. There's the SM there. There's all the information. I've got an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old that play it with me in spite of the 14 plus, 60 to 90 minute. This is the Ironclad edition, and I'll tell you what that means here in a minute. But the Ironclad editions are numbered and serialized. First printing of 7,500 units. This is based on the 1920 plus world, the alternate reality that was developed by Jacob Rozalski, and he's an artist over in Europe, and man, it's kind of steampunk. He just does a really good job. But you can see the board. There's crazy artwork on every panel of the board of the game. Look at that. So we're going to open it up. I always get that tilt backwards. That's as far as she's going to go. What do you get in the box? You get a game board. There's some more artwork. You get 5 of these mech mats. These are player mats. Each of these things are different. Got different artwork on it. This one's name is Tatanka. It's got some buffalo in the foreground, a big buffalo-shaped mech in the background. This one's called Highlander. Up in the mountains, a big mech. Lumberjack. Look at those saw blades there on the side and the guy riding up there. Nothing like a big giant robot with saw blades and machine guns mounted on top. This one's called Marsh Strider with a big long spindly legs so it can go underwater. And that one's called Odin's Wrath, which is equivalent of a duck boat. One that can go on land and on water, I guess. So there's been lots of noise, and we're not going to go into it very much, but this was a very, very highly anticipated game. And I've watched a couple reviews online, and I thought, well, we can make our assessment. But the cool thing, one of the cool things, is that each of those mechs, those player mats, the player pieces that you use to play this game are these die-cast figurines. I mean, enormous figurines. These things are heavy. So maybe there's some die-cast people that can appreciate this. This is Odin's Wrath. Look at the detail on that thing. Big Viking ship with legs. Could you imagine seeing that thing rumbling across the landscape, Easton? Here we go. Tatanka. Tatanka, can you see it? There's the artwork. There's the player piece. Got a chin turret. A big crane on the top. Two big exhaust pipes. Look at Highlander next. There it is. Highlander. Not really sure what metal this is cast in. Some kind of zinc alloy. Maybe Zamac, but it looks a little bit like it may be a little bit different. Looky there, there's a hook. This one's got a hook for an arm. Of course, turrets. His other arm mounted a machine gun. What do we have left? Lumberjack. Here he is. Look at those saw blades. Saw blade with a gun turret mounted on the back. And he's got like a door that's open underneath him there. Kind of hanging open. What is that? A scoop or something? Last but not least, the Marsh Strider. If you've seen War of the Worlds, look at those cables hanging down. Hydraulic cables, maybe. Marsh Strider. If you've seen World of the Worlds, this is very otherworldly, but this artist has created this whole alternate reality that stems from 1920, or the exit of the Industrial Revolution, around these mechs. And these games are really fun. I'm not going to go into the rules at all because this is not a playthrough. This is not a description of the game rules, how to play, or anything like that. This is just an appreciation of this game and the artwork. So, and I've watched lots of reviews about it online, and I have to say that I don't really agree with a lot of the stuff that's being said online about this game. They say, oh, it's big, it takes up too much space on the table. Well, yeah, it's big, but look at this artwork. When you have artwork like that, you've got to make it big. There's an ancient temple. Each one of these playing tiles has a different scene on it that follows. I mean, it's just completely immersive. There's a research base. Ice cave. You're moving these mechs to all these different places and doing stuff like gathering items. You're playing these cards. You get a whole bunch of big old deck of cards, and each one of these cards has crazy scenes. Cure a whale of parasites. You see the guys out there in the ship fighting the waves with the giant whale coming out of the ground. Yellowstone. This is a meteorite card. But, you know, one of the cool things is you go on these quests in this game. And the quest, I pulled out some quest cards, and like, for example, this location, the research base, it kind of looks like Antarctica. You've got some wolves or dogs out there, a guy pulling a sled, the dog sled. So this is a snow-covered landscape with these ramshack looking buildings and power poles, and then out here in the background you can see this giant structure with draping guy wires. What in the world are they holding up? What is the purpose of that? It just says research base. And this is one of the locations you get to go do. And when you get there, this is a location, and these mean something. These are something you use in the game, but when you're doing a quest, you got to get to this card and you got to do a quest. And this is what makes this game so cool, is if you immerse yourself in the artwork in this world of 1920s Europe, then you can go on this quest with your mech and your character, and it says pillage the tower. And so you can see that character is kind of exploring underneath that big pile of timbers with a wolf. And when you go there, you can see them. Like, there's the big tower, and this is what you're doing. There's two of these. Here's the other one. Scout the abandoned base. And there's the Marsh Strider mech, but there over to the right-hand side of the card, you can see the tower. There's that same guy on his dog sled with his dog team. Isn't that cool? So you go on this quest to scout the abandoned base at the research base. And there's a lot of these cards. So you really can get immersed into this world. It is one of the coolest things about this game. And the game mechanic is real fun. We've been enjoying playing it. There's the mechs with all the mech mats. Here's all the cards. You research base. Look at all those player tiles you get. And here's all the cards. There's meteorites, atoms, items. I mean, you go through, you may use half of this card deck during a game. Let's see here. Here's one. Rescue a trapped mercenary on location 10. It's like this big, mysterious exploration game where you're exploring and uncovering these tiles, and the whole time you're moving these big mechs around. So it's a really cool game. We absolutely love it. I've rated it a 10 on BoardGameGeek.com, which I'm going to try to post this as a video review. But yeah, the box is big. People complained about that. Oh, it won't fit on my shelf. Well, I'm sure you got other shelves in your house that you can put it on, or just put it in a different box. Oh, it's too big. Look at this artwork. This game deserves to be big. You want to see this stuff as you're playing on it. You don't want it to be covered up. Mining town. Fishing village. Warehouse. All right, well, that's our little bitty review, our little tabletop review of the sequel to Scythe, Expeditions. And there's the mechs. They're full metal. They're heavy. Great game. I love the theme. I love the mechanics. You ought to try it out. It is great. It does take elements of Scythe and incorporate it, but it's not like Scythe. It's a different game mechanic altogether, but there are elements of Scythe. Not to mention the theme and the artwork and or the setting, but also there's some game elements in there that also remind you of Scythe. So if you're a fan of Scythe, play it. If you're not a fan of Scythe, play it. And hope you enjoyed this little bitty 15-minute review of Expeditions.